Hi there. So I'm just going to read my instructions. I would uh, I would show them for you, but of course it doesn't. It goes backwards. So to make your rice koji, and I got this from Gem Cultures, and I don't know why I couldn't find the instructions online. For anybody else who lost their instructions and can't find them, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're online. Anyway, here they are, in case this is helpful. So this is for light misos, amasake, sake, pickles, and um, so so you'll need to calculate for your quantities that you're working with, but you have your utensils, the 4 to 6 quart stock pot for lid for soaking and cooking rice, a sieve or colander for rinsing, draining rice, 2-inch tall can with both ends removed, and daisy wheel vegetable steamer or Chinese bamboo or wooden steamer for steaming rice. Small skillet, wooden bowl, wooden spoon to prepare starter, and you just want to use non-reactive utensils, so wood, spoons, and like probably ideally enamelware, but we don't have all that. Thermometer, a 10 by 14 by 2.5 inch glass or stainless steel tray, or two 8 by 8 2.5 inch trays, one 20-inch square of cheesecloth, 2-foot square of sheet or tight weave cloth, a bath size terry towel and one smaller towel, and an incubator set at 85 degrees, 30 degrees Celsius, or insulated box blankets and hot water bottles. And that's what I used. I used hot water bottle, wrapping it, and also I had a little hot plate, and it was pretty safe, that I kept. And so I just kind of created this little incubator. Uh, and so the ingredients are 6 cups polished rice, uh, quarter cup flour, 2 teaspoons starter, and the fermenting time is 48 hours at a temperature of 85 Fahrenheit, 30 degrees Celsius. I used barley. And this is something that kind of takes 48 hours, and in this instruction, they recommend you start late in the afternoon. So in the late afternoon, rinse your 6 cups of polished rice or whatever you're using several times in fresh water until the water runs clear. I watched online, and there were people who thought that the kind of coating on the rice worked better. So there's controversy, but this is what these instructions say. Rinsing is important to remove surface starch, which can make your steamed rice stick together in lumps and make it difficult to culture properly. Allow rinsed rice to soak in 12 cups or more of fresh water for 6 or more hours. So you're rinsing, letting it soak before you even apply anything. Then early the next morning, drain the rice in a colander, transfer to absorbent towels to dry further for 5 to 10 minutes. The added drying will aid in keeping the cooked rice lump-free. In a 4 to 6 quart pot, place 2-inch tall can with both ends removed, adding 1/2 inches of water, and place adjustable steamer on top wide open. Line the steamer bed with an 8 to 20-inch square of cheesecloth. Spread the rice on an even layer, pressing it firmly to the edges of the pot. Cover and bring the water to a boil. Once steam rises through the rice, not just up the sides of the pot, time the steaming of the rice for 50 minutes carefully so that it won't boil dry. So I didn't have a can like with ends removed. So I just looked up other people making koji on YouTube, and it was a little bit more simple, and it worked. Prepare the starter and work area. Heat a dry skillet. Lightly toast a quarter cup of flour to sanitize. So what I did was I try to avoid wheat or rice, so I used my coffee mill grinder, and I just milled my barley. So I had a quarter cup of barley flour that I made. So you're sanitizing your dry skillet with that flour. So you heated a dry skillet, lightly toasted your quarter cup of flour to sanitize it, and transferred it to a small bowl. When the flour is cool, add 2 teaspoons of the spore powder to it and mix well. Expel the air from the starter bag and reseal it. So that's just the bag you get from here, from Gem Cultures, if you're working with that, but other people are not. So clean your work area, spread a 2-foot square layer, two layers of terry towels. I just used a clean cotton shirt that I'm just recycling. At the center, make a 1-foot square of 2 additional layers of terry towels. Over this pad, lay a 2-foot square of sheeting or other tight weave cloth so the hot rice will not stick. So maybe I did put a towel and then I used my shirt over it to kind of create a container. If you have no incubator or warm spot, 85 to 95 Fahrenheit, 30 to 35 Celsius, you'll need additional towels and blankets and hot water bottles to insulate and warm your growing koji. After 50 minutes of steaming your grain, the steamed rice will be a hot rubbery lump. With protected hands, put the rice at the center of your work area on the sheeting and remove the cheesecloth. With a rice paddle or wooden spoon, break up any moist lumps and mix with the rest to create a uniform overall moistness. Spread the rice to a 1-inch thick layer, stirring occasionally and allowing it to cool to about 113 Fahrenheit, 45 degrees Celsius. Sprinkle half of the starter flour mixture over the cooled rice and mix thoroughly. And that's your culture. Again, spread it out and add the remaining starter mixture. Stir it in again and make a mound centered over the extra padding. Put a thermometer in the center of the rice and wrap the sheeting around it. Now wrap the remaining layers to make a neat insulated bundle. Place it in your incubation area at 90 Fahrenheit, 30 degrees Celsius, or wrap with blankets, including hot water bottles, to keep it warm. Throughout the day, check every 2 hours to see that the internal temperature of the koji is 81 to 95 Fahrenheit, 27 to 35 degrees Celsius. And mine, I didn't create the mound, and it's still, my thermometer still worked. And so it's just you're babysitting this every 2 hours, 2 to 4 hours checking. The temperature range is optimum for the development of enzymes necessary to make amasake sweet and make sugars available for sake yeast. However, temperatures higher than this will not ruin the koji for miso making, but prolonged overheating will kill the koji mold and bacteria will take over. Make incubator adjustments or change hot water bottles as needed to assure optimum temperature by checking one last time just before retiring for the night. So I did have to change out my hot water bottle maybe twice. Upon rising, and I had the hot water bottle a little bit hotter. I can't remember exactly what temperature I had, but I didn't put it like a 85. Like I probably had my hot water bottle water at like 95 degrees. So, you know, as the temperature decreased, it compensated. Okay, upon arising, so you've retired for the night. Upon arising, check the internal koji temperature and make adjustments. In hot soapy water, wash your utensils you plan to use for koji trays and lids. Choose glass or stainless steel trays, which should be 2.5 inches deep and about 10 by 14 inches, or 2 8 by 8 inch. Lids may be glass or plastic or tight weave folded cloths to hold in warmth and moisture. Rinse utensils thoroughly and set them to drain dry. After 24 hours at 80 Fahrenheit, 30 degrees Celsius, wash your hands and open the koji bundle. You should be met with a faintly yeasty, mushroomy sweet fragrance. And actually that was happening well before 24 hours. It was very fragrant. So for anybody who's may have some smell sensitivities, or if you live with people who are kind of grouchy about that kind of stuff, you just might want to be aware that it has a really strong permeating fragrance, and like maybe have that person go away on vacation, or or just be willing to deal with the flack. It's a strong fragrance, and it's not. It was pleasant. It's kind of like, to me, it was kind of floral, and it was powerful. The grains with loosely bound lumps should appear white, as though dusted with flour. If the dusted appearance is not uniform or poorly developed, quickly and carefully mix the rice and rewrap it. That's what happened to me. And I probably didn't break it up and remix it as well as I could have. But it still ended up, for me, turning out to be, actually, no, it did. It did. It did completely become Koji. It was my miso that wasn't perfect. Check the internal temperature and allow the bundle to incubate several more hours, checking the temperature hourly to prevent overheating. Next, transfer the Koji bundle from the sheeting to your trays, distributing it evenly. Then run furrows about 1 inch deep and 2 inches apart across the entire surface to increase the surface area and reduce the possibility of hot spots as the mold continues to produce its own heat. Put the thermometer into the Koji and cover with lid directly on the surface of the Koji to keep in moisture. And that is something that you do want to do, because it's evaporating. So you don't want your Koji to be too damp as to get moldy, and you don't want it to dry out from being at that temperature, in the high 80s, early 90s. Wrap the entire tray with heavy towels for added insulation and return it to your incubation area, or place the tray in a box with hot water bottles for warmth and an open bottle of hot water for humidity. Good thing I'm reading this. Yeah. Wrap the entire box to insulate it. So it did work out for me somehow. And I think maybe my incubation kept enough moisture. But it's good to know that you might want to have a little open water to maintain humidity there. So the internal temperature of the Koji should not drop below 77 Fahrenheit or 25 Celsius, or go above 104 Fahrenheit, 40 Celsius for very long. So that happened to me. Mine went above and below over the course of time, and but it worked out. If overheating should be discovered, stir the Koji to reduce the heat, even the surface, replace the furrows and the thermometer, cover, and return to incubate using a lower heat source or less insulation. Throughout the day, check the Koji temperature every 4 hours or so. Stir it briefly to break up the lumps. Level it, replace furrows, recover, rewrap it, re-incubate. I didn't break it up and keep stirring because I was paranoid. Check one last time before retiring for the night. Upon arising, so this is 46 hours, check your Koji temperature. After 46 hours or so of incubation, break several grains to check for maturity. They should break easily, and the chalk-like whiteness should comprise more than half of the grain's diameter. At maturity, bring the trays to room temperature, stirring occasionally until it has cooled. Measure what is needed for immediate use. For longer storage, the rest should be refrigerated, still spread out on trays until well chilled. So, yeah. So I think that's it in a nutshell. So I don't know if anybody can figure out how to take an image of that, because I just don't have the time right now, and in my computer I don't think it takes pictures well. So yeah. So hopefully that might help. So good luck with your projects. Bye.